I'll talk a little about what populism is, how I understand it, and why it's been important now. Populism has been historically, starting in the 1890s in the United States, a kind of early warning signal that a consensus that's widely held among the country's leaders has come into disrepute, and that there's a large part of the population which no longer believes in, let's say, in the 1890s, the promise of laissez-faire capitalism. More recently, in the promise of a kind of neoliberalism where goods and factories could go wherever they wanted in the world, and that labor could cross borders, and it just wouldn't matter, that we'd become more and more prosperous, and it hasn't panned out. And both the Sanders campaigns and Trump's campaign in 2016 were evidence of this kind of populism. They were saying that as representatives of the people, we're saying that the establishment or the elite is out of touch. They know they're pushing policies that are getting us into trouble. And there was a lot of similarity in 2016 between what Trump and Sanders were saying, for instance, about factories that were moving overseas, about Chinese mercantilism, about the fact that a lot of American companies were being put out of business. Again, I think that there's a similarity. There's a left wing and a right wing populism. Trump is really a kind of exception to the rule, because usually what happens is populists get co-opted. The American populists of the 1890s were co-opted by the progressives, and then to some extent by the New Deal itself.